Hello everyone, welcome back to SketchCraft Live. I'm Rob Duenas, graphic artist, Esquire, and if you're joining in for the very first time, you should know that we typically rant about art, movie and comic related news stuff chosen by either us or you, the audience. Joining in today with me is Brandon, Let Heavy James, say hi.
Hello.
Hey Brandon, and also returning, Ashley from GangFeather.com. Ashley, say hi.
Hello.
I'm gonna do a long pause now before I say Ashley. I wonder how long I can stretch that out per show. All right, so not that busy a week in terms of art news and stuff. I kind of feel like it's the calm before the storm, really, in terms of like geek stuff too. We're at the beginning of March, and I think we're all in our post Deadpool high. You know, like oh, that movie came out. Oh, that was amazing. And we're getting ready for Batman v Superman. And I am also in the middle of a bunch of fucking deadlines. I just finished up a cover for Aspen Big Dog Inc., however that works out now, for Legend of Oz. They got this new book coming out based on their Legend of Oz series called TikTok and the Khalida. I'm horrible with the names of these things. So it's the first Legend of Oz book that Aspen's going to print. So I did one of their variant covers. You'll probably be able to find it at 2 shows, maybe online. I don't know. Like
every time you say the name, I think of that Indiana Jones scene, the Kalima.
That was
the
the joke I made to Tom, and Tom did not like that joke.
did you reach out like you're gonna grab his heart out, or did you just say it? I would have went full. I would have put my hands up to his chest and been like, and I would have squeezed his chest and been like, yeah.
If I squeeze,
is he the writer?
Yeah, Tom's a big guy.
Well, no wonder. Yeah, I mean that's his baby. You're like making fun of it.
Yeah. So what Brandon does is he attacks a writer's story first, thinking that's why Tom doesn't remember Brandon's name.
Mm-hmm. That's my go-to.
So Tom has never remembered Brandon's name in the several years. I think I keep reintroducing Brandon to Tom. So. But yeah, you should reach out and grab his man boob, Brandon, and see where that gets you.
It might get me a gig. You never know.
Might. He's like, we got some sketch cards, Brandon. Come on,
right.
Maybe you'd like to join in on that. So if everyone's looking at their screen, which I know I am, this right here is the cover in question. So let's zoom in here, take a look. Little self-promotion, people. Little self-promotion. This is actually going to printer now. It's actually at the printer. So it's one of those rare deadlines where they print immediately after turning in. So that's nice too, because that means they don't have time to make changes. And this was a little fun because the character design was not my thing, so I did my own version. Tom was like, yeah, that's fine. So it's a good time. Plus I got a chance to utilize the Ruffy painting for the background, which was cool. It's always fun to be able to take that quick digipaint thing and get some love out of it and make some money off that. So
how often does a publisher or a company let you do that and have a little bit of freedom? Hardly ever.
Well, being that I hardly ever take any freelance now, I'll say with IDW, it's not them, it's the licensors that are just very picky. So, in that case, they're hiring me because they know I can add life and draw on spec,
Mm-hmm.
which apparently is really difficult. You ever see someone draw the turtles and you're like, wow, that don't look right, but they look like the turtles? That's because they had to draw a certain way. And that's, to do it and do what you do, I have fortunately picked that trick up doing t-shirts and working at Play. But Tom's usually pretty good about it. He's made me change a small thing sometimes. It's the concept that I tend to get into an argument over. And when I say argument, I'm way blowing that out of proportion. Just really, Tom? Remember the last time you had me, I was doing that Cupid, I did that Cupid cover, and then I did that Easter thing cover with the little fuzzies. And then on the Penny for Your Soul books. And then I had this whole other thing, and he wanted the pole dancing thing, and I was like, oh, man, fucking stripper pole, man, really? And I was like, man, don't make me do it, Tom. Please don't make me draw this stripper pole. And I wanted nothing to do with that cover, and that just did not go very well. He's like, no, but it's relevant to the story. I'm like,
for some reason that just wouldn't bother me. I don't know why.
It's not the subject matter. It's that I'd already done enough of it. And I do think at the time Tom wasn't getting the little minions I was drawing, the little creatures. And everyone at cons were loving it. I could see Tom go, yeah, I don't know about that, because he didn't want to write them in. And so I think he was being protective of having to create. And I get that. You don't want to create things, but that you don't want the artist creating things that then you have to incorporate.
Yeah, I
But
understand.
I was in a position where I was drawing a variant, and I was like, what does it fucking matter? But the world has changed since then. Case in point, I was on the internet, and one of my followers, was like, "Oh, I did this new piece," and I'm looking at it, and it's like a Harley Quinn, and she's got stuffed Batman, stuffed Joker, pop guns, little giant bombs, big bullets. You know what I mean? A strip in the center, a big mallet, and I'm like, I guess I'm having an influence one way or the other, and then now
Yeah.
you sort of see the plushes everywhere, and I was doing that 5 years ago, plus the saucies and shit. So now it's a different thing. They see it on the internet, and they go, "Yeah, Rob, you should draw like a plushy backpack," like when I did the Critter Leia cover with the
Yeah.
yeah. So it is
Even
cool
I'm
though.
kind of, I have a little bit of that going on, but mine was really, I just had a dream and I was like, I got to put that in there. And I was like, it just so happens to be that there's stuffed animals. So,
Yeah, like Jim Cameron with the Terminator, only with stuffed animals.
yeah.
So yeah, so that's what I did this week, and then also I've been working on Game Cave. This is super rough. So I've spent the last 2.5 years not writing this because it's actually written, building Game Cave, the universe, everything that's going to go on with it. And then one of the final components was integrating comic book sequentials into the narrative. Normally, when you get like a light novel, right now there's like a light novel works like this. It's like a book, and then there's a big picture on the left every 50 pages. Usually, it's like 6 to 12 images per book. What I always wanted to do was integrate the sequential art into the narrative. Hold on one second, folks. Hold on one second. Sorry. So, and I had the damnedest time with that for a multitude of reasons. Not just because, I could just, let me say. Second of all, with the book, there's this stuff where I like to show info. Like, I want to have different items. So, in this case, they talk about Game Cave power card. Well, I want to have the power card here and describe what that is. I don't really feel like getting into it in the narrative. So, I wanted to mix a novel with, a Dungeon Master's handbook in terms of the format, and then also sequential art. The problem I was having was the sequential art would always blend in with these info boxes, like the box type, what they look like, and it wasn't quite working. Um, if I come over here, say this is like 2013, 2014, 2015, and we come to novella, Rev 3. I had to go and also find a way that adding sequentials would predictably change the page count. This is one of these crazy things, folks, where like, okay, so I come with this idea, but what if I only have, and I do, I only have a certain amount of pages. I can't go over 124 pages, including covers. So it's 120 pages. That's what I budgeted for max. That means Rob don't make much money, but it looks cool. So when I add in these panels, and I go, okay, maybe chapter 1 has 12 panels, maybe chapter 2 has 10. How does that affect the page count? I can't end up with odd number pages. They have to be even number pages because of the way it goes. And I need to predictably know in advance that if I add a full page of panels, it's going to add only one extra page. One way to do that is this situation here where I've come up with these little film strip panels. So they look like little storyboards that then go in between. Wherever I want to put a little box, I can put it right here. So if you're reading Malbec says something like this, I can cut to him, have him say what he needs to say, and then it comes right back into the dialogue. It flows seamlessly. And if I wanted to stack them up, three up, I know that that's a half a page, one way or the other. And with the kerning is the space in between the words, I need to know that when I do that, that the kerning isn't affected so much, it adds extra space to the words overall, because you're talking about 3,000, 10,000 words per chapter sometimes, So that extra little bit of space stacks up. It's like the penny effect. If you steal a penny from everyone's paycheck, you end up with $1 billion. It's the same kind of basic idea. And that flows over the course of the entire chapters. So this was old. This right here was old stuff. Display, high performance. This is InDesign. So these were old versions of the chapters where I had these little key arts. And I would be like, one second, sometimes InDesign needs to catch up. I would be like, oh, I'll put this little key art in here, but it looks more like a separate panel. It doesn't look like it flows within the story. So first I came up with the film strip idea, and I tested it out, which it would be here. and we can come here. This is my initial idea. So I was like, oh, I can have a ship. Can I have, when you're reading the film strip, because I like it because you read top down, right? Which flows with the way these the word paragraphs are set up. But what if I have a ship fly up like the Jolly Dagger? Will I still look down at the next frame? And the answer is yeah, because when you look at a film strip, we're intrinsically taught to read. Even if something moves up, you're still going to look at the next one down, the next one down, the next one down. So I solved that problem. And then it doesn't blend in here with the concept art boxes. These have their own look. These have their own look. And you can fit word balloons in. And then these become more like storyboards, which, by the way, is what I used to always draw my comic books like. I'm going to show you all something here that I don't dig into too often. This is old stuff. Yeah, this is old shit. Brandon's seen this stuff. He hates when it's too many times, maybe, right?
I love it every time.
You love it every time. Go ahead and talk for a little bit, Brandon, while I dig this up.
Okay.
You have anything to say about this, Brandon? Like the
I like it. It's unique. It's a different way of storytelling than when I'm being a comic book reader that I'm used to. I don't read a lot of novels, so I think it's a good way to incorporate both to get people interested. I'm interested because I think once you start looking at the art and reading the story, it'll just all flow together really well from what I've seen. I like this look a lot better than what you started with in Game Cave. So I like the progression. If it wasn't good, I think I wouldn't say it was bad, but you know me, I would say like, hey, why don't you try this? And then you would tell me why it didn't work. But this has gone pretty well, and I like what you've done so far. And I know it's still going to change a little bit, but I'm a fan of like storyboard art and things like that. I follow a lot of animators on Instagram and stuff that do a lot of storyboard art and things like that. So I think it's a cool idea, and I haven't seen it before in a book or novel.
Yeah, it's a little bit of uncharted territory. So, you end up in this situation where you're like, I guess, I don't know, and then I'll be honest, folks, sometimes I get afraid. Actually do. I'm like, and then you like, I don't know, maybe it should be this, maybe it should be that, maybe I've gone too far, maybe I haven't gone far enough. I'm pulling this up right now. So here's a small sample. This is old. This is from 2002. This is a character called Yam. And this is actually going left to right. I didn't think to go up and down. So this would be like a storyboard where this guy's fighting a big monster in an arena. And I wanted to give him one item to fight the monster. And it was, the glove from, the boxing glove from Roger Rabbit. Boxing glove with springs. Mm-hmm. It's a glove that you'd hit it and it'd extend out and hit. So the idea was that he could use it to punch the guy or flip off stuff, flip around, land over here, and then, you could hit him. He could actually use it to project himself off the ground. So this is the monster looking up into the air, and then he'd go down and hit him. Now these are all in black and white because I didn't really know how to color and shit at the time. So coloring was very difficult for me. Same with this over here. Was another sequence of little Yam storyboards where he's like, being all like, oh, I'm alone, and then rain, and so these were weird stories. I would just make them up and then storyboard the shit out of them.
What year was this?
2003.
Oh wow, 13 years.
Shit, really? Here was my initial thumbnails for like the battle, where Yam has this boxing glove and then he hits him. The guy's like, oh, and he hits him. So, but I was like, I didn't ever know. Like, I just find it funny. I remember looking at that recently, and I was like, man, I used to do some interesting stuff. That all went away when I started freelancing, and trying to be like a real artist. So being able to like control that now, and only insert sequentials where it's part of the story. It's not independent. So anyway, it took me a long time to figure out how to do it. Suffice to say, folks, it's been interesting. But that's where I've been on Game Cave. So right now, I've tested out across the entire book. It works. The page count doesn't get affected. Everything works fine. I have all the thumbnails sketched out for Chapter 1, and now I'm going to just actually plow through Chapter 2 because it's a short chapter, and get that complete, and then start plugging everything in, and and that'll be that. It'll be really fun to do. I'm not going to be streaming any of that stuff. So this is me testing a super wide panel, like when you an exterior shot. Like I was wondering, like if I do like an exterior shot, like pretend this is Butter Bay, then would you still read left and then come down? And you do, like, but I don't know if that works, right? I can theorize it in my head, and I do when I'm sitting here working. Um, but yeah, I'm super excited because this shit's coming out this year, one way or the other, folks.
You are
One
getting
way
it.
or the other, yeah. One way you're gonna get this shit. So that's what I've been working on recently. Let me just flip back to the SketchCraft Live. Every night, folks, and that doesn't even cover the video game magazine side. There's actually a magazine in there.
Right.
So if you can believe it. Anyhow, I chewed up a good 15 minutes. Brandon, you want to talk about some movie stuff? You got some stuff up on the board you want to talk about?
Mm-hmm. So, might as well, since we got my picture up of the Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters came out, they released a new trailer for it. I believe it was Friday? It was sometime last week. And then they just released today the international trailer, which we have a video up, we have a reaction video up somewhere.
For the
below.
first trailer, not for the reaction.
For the first trailer, yes, we have a reaction video for the first trailer. Ashley, did you see the trailer?
I did.
And as a female, seeing an all-female cast like that,
I didn't like it.
You did not like it.
Nope.
Why did you not like it?
I thought it was what's the word? I don't know. I just didn't like it. I just thought it wasn't. It just the other one was better. Not necessarily because it doesn't have to do with gender. Just the way that the comedy and everything. It wasn't
There for you.
wasn't there. Nope.
Yeah, my wife said the same thing. As she watched it, it stopped, and she goes, "I hate it. I hate it."
It's like they're like when they added that tidbit, and now they're controlling people. It's like, I mean, I was like, well,
kind of forcing
Okay,
it.
hold on one second, because we're jumping around. As artists, we see the images and then we react, and then we don't talk about it. So just time out one second. Ashley, this isn't a slight on you. I do this to my wife. Drives her fucking crazy. You're not even talking to me. I'm like, well, I see the fucking images. I don't need. Oh, I just said that. Damn. I don't need to talk to you. Don't ever say that. Let me show you folks something really quick. So this is the video Brandon was talking about. We did a trailer reaction video last week. Ashley, it was like spur of the moment, so I didn't bother to drag you into it. But now that you're here, we can actually get your opinion. So if you want to know my opinion and Brandon's opinion as I watch this thing, here's a video. I'm letting you know I'm getting a weird error thing from YouTube, and then it goes away after a few seconds. So if you get one of those, give it a few minutes and it'll catch up. Sometimes YouTube has weird random glitches and stuff. So it's working fine now. Anyhow, okay, so Ashley, the thing I made a mention of one of the reasons why I was afraid to ever talk about this movie was because I know the internet has a strong social justice, whatever they want to call it, movement where
right, and I don't really want to talk because
right, it's
I
a
don't wanna be
quagmire. It's a
victim.
quagmire. I'm not going to get you into it. It's a quagmire. You open it up, it's like the Eye of Sauron. You shut up right quick. Ooh. They're going to trick me. I'm going to say something, and that's not what I meant.
It's like a minefield.
So what I was saying was, people are going to be like, if I don't like this trailer, they're going to think it's because I don't think women should be in this movie. And for the record, I want to state again, when I was a kid, the first script I ever wrote, my entire life, I sat down to write my own story. It happened to be a movie script. Was Ghostbusters 2: To Return to Ghostbusters. What I wrote was in the 3rd grade. The reason why I wrote it is, 1, I wanted more Ghostbusters. 2, I saw a cover of Omni Magazine. If you don't know what Omni Magazine was, it was like the science geek magazine in the 80s. You could get these things that would be like, teach how to lucid dream, all sorts of weird shit, talk about aliens and science and stuff. But they had a cover with Sigourney Weaver on it, in full Ghostbusters garb, with the proton pack and everything. And I was like, I saw that, my fucking mind blew. I was like, Dana Barrett's gonna be a Ghostbuster? That made perfect sense. Like, her and Peter trash talking and shit, like maybe she's even better at it than Peter, everyone loves her and shit. I was like, maybe Winston could get, like, because I watched a lot of Night Court when I was a kid, if you don't know what that show is. And there was someone on Night Court called Marsha Warfield, who was this badass, she was a black woman, she was a hard ass. She just looked at you, you didn't want to talk to her. and she played a bailiff. And I was like, Winston could get a girlfriend. It'd be Marsha Warfield, and she'll be just, you don't want to fuck with her. Like she'd scare, someone who Venkman couldn't just dominate with his personality. Was in my mind. So that's the script that I wrote, was featuring Dana Barrett as a Ghostbuster, and then Winston, gets a girlfriend, whatever. I'm 8, folks. I'm not a deep thinker. And Gozer returns because I couldn't invent a new monster. So anyway, so when they announced women as the leads in Ghostbusters, I was like, oh, is Dana gonna be? I don't know. Maybe that's what they're gonna do. Premonition. They didn't do any of that shit. It's kind of a reboot. What's weird about this is that it's a reboot that in the marketing is acknowledging that there was another movie, but doesn't clearly state it's a reboot, but then you can kind of tell it's a reboot. It's kind of a remake of the first movie. And then the jokes just fall flat. And I feel bad because I didn't laugh at any joke in this trailer or in the international one. But I do like the McKinnon's her name. She's playing Holtzman. She's acting the most like a Ghostbuster I've seen in all these movies. Like, if you want to know what Ghostbusters is like to me, it's a movie that has subtle humor. There's a lot of subtlety in the humor, a lot of not talking, a lot of looks and small quips, and so she's playing that perfectly. And I don't know what the hell Kirsten Wiig's doing. I don't know. But the thing was, they were all sort of losers in their universe, and in this movie, it's like they're all really good at shit. Like they're all really, you're the incredible super quantum scientist, and you're the fucking super genius, and you can build shit. Like we never saw Egon build a proton pack in the original Ghostbusters, but here they're like super geniuses. So it's just a shame that the jokes fall flat. And I was afraid that if we didn't like the trailer, they're gonna be like, it's because they're women. And guess what ended up on Yahoo.com front page the very next day? The new trailer's out. It's brilliant, and people aren't liking it because they're women. And I'm like, are we fucking kidding? Like, for real, dude? Is this an issue? Like, is it? Is it really? Like, it's such a shame. And meanwhile, I'm like, hey, Ashley, what was the one joke you laughed at? Nothing. Right? Like,
laugh, yeah.
And it's a shame. So, very clearly, like, let's just break it down. So, what did you think of the visuals? Just visual effects from that standpoint.
I thought it was a little bit rubbery, like as far as like, well, okay, the slime, I guess that kind of is, but I mean the ghosts, it seemed like, I think y'all were touching base on this the other day, but they were a little bit too saturated with color.
Nickelodeon-like.
Yeah.
It's the word I think we all arrived at. Kyle was on the phone with us, and we're like, yeah, it feels like something on Nickelodeon, not in the old Nickelodeon days, but like the 90s with, the Nick Awards. The slime feels more like toy slime than, ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm, yeah.
Right.
And it's green, not pink. At least that one, the slime we saw.
The original slime was almost clear, like mucus. It looked like boogers.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah, you're right.
Or he's like, like he's just wiping it on stuff.
I'm mostly remembering the second movie where there's just like a river of slime beneath the city.
But that's when, see, as a kid, for me, Ghostbusters 2 was like my Phantom Menace. Like, everyone in the theater thought it was great, and I was really bummed out.
Yeah.
Because it didn't have the scariness of the first film. Like, I love the humor of the first film, but there was a scariness to it. Like, I didn't want to open a refrigerator for a week after Ghostbusters 1.
Yeah, that movie.
I don't know, that bathtub scene freaked me out a little bit when I was a kid. Where the
Oh, it has its moments in Ghostbusters too. There are moments where you're like, that's genuinely scary. But overall...
Oh, and the painting. Sorry. Yes.
Oh, yeah, the painting's creepy. Yeah, that was creepy.
And he's like staring at it and it's staring back at him. I know we're going off on a tangent here.
No, I get that. So there's, but here it's like they've gone full cartoon. So I said, I sort of felt like this feels more like an actual adaptation of the cartoon.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe there's something to it. Maybe it's just, it's not just, it's like the music in the first and second one was great. It's got that, that 80s, I guess they both came out in the 80s, right?
I think Elmer Bernstein, I think, was the composer.
Yeah, but I just love that like ominous 80s kind of music that I don't know if it's synthy because I haven't heard it before, but I mean, I can't really explain it because I haven't seen the movie enough time. Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. There's just like they don't really do that much anymore, like because they try to modernize everything. Not always. There's some movies where they try to bring it back, kind of like most recent example I can think of is Guardians of the Galaxy with the mixtape. But
Yeah, that's a soundtrack where they're intermixing
that's a
songs. But
soundtrack,
in terms of
exactly. But what I'm
synth,
saying is they brought it back a little bit, doing that. But as far as the soundtrack goes, yeah, they usually just keep things modern.
yeah, the last big synth soundtrack I remember was actually Dark Knight Rises, where Hans Zimmer switched the soundtrack from strings and cellos and to a synth. It's an actual synth Batman score. It's very Vangelis too when you listen to it. Vangelis was a composer of Blade Runner.
See, and I'm watching Blade Runner right now, which is one of my favorite movies, sci-fi that is, and I just I'm baffled by the movie because everything about it is just for 1982 just baffles me.
Oh
And
yeah, I always recommend speaking about Blade Runner, there was this 3-hour documentary they put out on Blu-ray DVD about the making of Blade Runner. If you haven't seen Blade Runner, watch the documentary first, then watch Blade Runner.
I
Believe
have a
me,
confession to make.
Brandon's never seen it.
I've only seen maybe like 20 minutes of Blade Runner.
it's on
Yep.
Netflix.
Yeah, Brandon, you need to watch the documentary, like leave it on while you're working and understand what they were dealing with. And then when you watch the movie, it makes, it's a complex film. I don't want to veer off into Blade Runner land, but in terms of the music, we were talking about that too. In terms of there was an ominous tone in Ghostbusters. There was fun, but then I was saying, when there's that scene where they're like, we need the army, and then they go to fight Gozer, right? And that music sounds like the end of the world. You see them driving behind
Yeah.
the National Guard, and it has that doo, and you can hear you see the ghosts flying out across the city and the balls of light, and you're like, wow, it really looks like the fucking end of the world. And the only people who could stop it are a bunch of four yahoos, they're
Yeah.
balding, overweight, kind of dumb, but they're the only ones who can fight this shit, and this definitely feels more like Men in Black 2. Where they glow. I don't know. It's kind of a big disappointment. So I take it overall, Ashley, you just didn't like it, right?
Yeah, it really doesn't have anything to do with the characters or anything like that. It's just the direction they went with. I'm just not
Did
the
e-
direction as far as comedy and maybe stylistic cinematic presence.
Right. Brandon?
did either of you see that fan cut edit of the trailer someone did?
Yeah, all they did was edit out jokes. So, as long as they don't ever talk. I mean, but again, you're in Phantom Menace territory, right?
Yeah.
Where, as long as no one talks, it's a good movie. Even Lucas is like, well, I wrote these to be silent films. I'm like, no, you didn't.
No.
Otherwise you would have made a silent film. It was the 70s. You would have done that, that's not true. So you just wrote bad dialogue. Anyways, and then very quickly they announced they're also making an animated Ghostbusters film.
A film or a show?
Film.
Ugh.
So Sony is really weird right now, and I'm going to tell you where a lot of this direction I think is coming from. It's coming from a man named Tim Rothman, who took over Sony in the wake of the Sony Leaks issue, and Amy Pascal lost her job, and now Tim Rothman's in charge. And if you want to know anything about Tim Rothman, just remember when they made all those bad Fantastic Four movies and they wouldn't let Sentinels be an X-Men? That's Tim Rothman.
You mean all the Fantastic Four movies?
Yeah, remember all those? That's Tim Rothman. He didn't have any chance in the new one, but the other two, he was the one who took Sentinels out, and he's the one who came up with the Wolverine, this thing every time had to be in the script. I sat there and listened to David Hayter for an hour just talk about Tim Rothman once at a screen of X-Men, and Tim Rothman's a douchebag. I don't like him. So,
Tell us how you really feel.
he's the
about
one
it.
who quote unquote said giant robots will never work. That's what he told Bryan Singer. So, and then Transformers came out 2 years later. So yeah, I don't creatively speaking, I don't fucking like Tim Rothman. And I just think it's another case where people fail upwards in Hollywood. So they just promoted some douchebag. Amy Pascal shouldn't have lost her job. She was in charge of a lot of really good cinema over there at Sony, and now we're in shit territory. And so this animated thing, I don't know. You know what I mean? I guess it could be cool, but we're already getting an animated Ghostbusters movie. It's called Ghostbusters. Comes out this summer. It'll be very animated, I assure you. So
Wait, there's two? Are you
He's being sarcastic, saying that
okay? No,
the live action will be so CGI and so cartoonic
yeah.
like.
Sorry, I'm
that.
just kind of a robot and don't get jokes.
That's okay. You'll pick up eventually. Well, Rob.
Yeah, I guess.
Rob's humor.
There's a few times Brandon thought I gave him a compliment, and he had to think about it. Like,
or I'm just conceited enough to take it as a compliment. I'm just like, no, I'll take it and feed my ego. So, I want you to talk about this artist tip. And I need a sound, but I have no sound yet for it. So, ding, 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 artist tip of the day.
oh yeah, so I had a situation today. I've had this where people get a hold of you, like on Twitter or Facebook, and what they'll do is they'll type something. They'll say, "Hey man, I really like your stuff. I got something going on. Hit me up," or "What's
Oh,
your email?" And I keep thinking to myself, this has happened enough to where I'm like, look, I know you're excited about your project and you want to feel like there's a lot of energy going on here, but just direct message me with your proposition, whatever. You know, you're interested in, hey, I'm interested in doing a magazine. Would you like to draw a cover? That's all you have to say. But when people like tag you to get them to get back to you, I'll be honest, I generally don't ever do that. I don't care. I could be missing out on Star Wars fucking 8.
It's
You
so
know, like,
off-putting.
and I know it's a mentality that starts down the path of whatever I quote them at, they're never going to pay, or they're not going to have the funds to, or they're just really excited about something. They want me to be excited about it. And if I give the impression of taking a dump on a project, then I'm going to be an asshole. So, like, I tend to not reply to that. So if you hit me up, folks, and you're like, hey, you know, or you hit up an artist and you're like, hey, hit me up back, you know, like, could you imagine? Working with people is a lot like dating. I hate to bring that analogy up, but that's the closest I have, you know, to it. You don't just if you're a guy, you don't just tag a girl, "Hey, email me sometime. I have a proposition for you." Like it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, man. Say, "Hey, you want to get some coffee? You got some free time?" Or, "Hey, I'm interested in doing this or that. You want to go somewhere?" Just get right to the point. Because with artists, like we don't. I mean, like honestly, like a lot of us, if you see us doing a lot of shit, guess what? We're doing a lot of shit. Like we're doing stuff. I'm doing stuff all fucking day. Might be my own stuff, but I'm incredibly busy. But yeah, and I found that when that starts, it starts this chain reaction of predictable events. So then I tell them, that's really good, but you know, maybe I'm interested. Here's my rate. Then they take a while. Then they get back. Okay, but what if it was like something simple? I'm like, no, that's
that's
my rate.
what I. Sorry. Yes. No. I went through that the other day. Got a message. You know, hey, what would you charge for this? This is what I would charge. Oh, well, you see, actually, it's really simple. All we need is this. It'll only take you 5, 10 minutes. I'm like, so, what do you want me to do? And I didn't hear anything back, of course. And I was like, that's fine. That's fine. I don't
What
care.
people need to understand, whether it takes me 10 minutes or an hour, let's say it actually only took me 10 minutes to make a cover. I don't know. If I could wish for a mutant power, that might be
Right.
it. Actually,
Well, the thing is, they're like, it'll take you 10 minutes. And you're like, what you think will take me 10 minutes probably will take me an hour or longer.
or how about this? What if it only takes you 10 minutes, Ashley, but it would take them 10 hours, or maybe 10 days, or maybe 10 years because they can't do it at all? It's because you have spent a great amount of time training yourself to the point where you can do that complex thing in 10 minutes. People aren't paying a chef, a you know, 5-star chef, whatever, a hatted chef, for their time. They're paying them for their expertise and their ability to produce a specific thing that you can't. That's why other artists don't hire other artists. Why would I hire someone to draw a game cave? I would just draw it. Catch my
Yeah.
drift? Now, if it only takes me 10 minutes to draw a panel, well, my rate's still the same whether it takes me 10 minutes or an hour. It's not paying me. And then, likewise, if it takes me 70 hours to draw a cover, the rate's the same. Because I mean, think about like when I did the Leia cover. I mean, if I left that to another artist, they'd still be working on it.
Yeah.
You know, so like people are when you understand when artists quote you, if they actually have talent, and believe me, you can tell the difference. They're charging you for their service, not for their time. I hate when you see these articles on the internet where they're like, here's how the hourly rate breaks down as an artist. Art is not an hourly job. It isn't. You can go, I've been in an art department. It's not an hourly job. Sometimes them shirts
Yeah.
crank out in 2 minutes. Sometimes they take all day.
I've had people send me that before where they're like, look at this. I'm like, that's great.
Right. And then it's like, and then it's a matter of refinement. Art is art. Art is art. It's art. It's not a fucking product. And I just keep seeing people, they go down that path of like, I'm going to turn this into like Okay, this is a 1 hour job. That's a 4 hour job. That's a 40-minute job. I'm like, on that day, like that day I did that painting in 60 minutes. Tomorrow it might be 3 hours. I don't know. You know, it's not as the results aren't always predictable. That's why when making a film, it's incredibly difficult. The more people you have involved, the more difficult it is to make it. So you got to have like anyway. It's not. I'm going to trail off into Netherland and the fucking ether here. But that to reel it all back in, Rob. Fucking reel it in. To reel it back in. Don't hit people, artists up and say hit me up back. Just send them your fucking message. Tell them what you want to get to. When you don't like the rate, don't say, well, it's going to be really easy. Okay? Because at that point, I'm going to fucking block you. I'm not going to engage. And actually, don't engage in the conversation afterward. Anything you say afterward, you're just entertaining this idea in their head and they think they can get you. Yeah. It's like, you ever haggle for shit in like a third world country? Like you go to the Mediterranean, you got like everything you have to haggle for?
No, I can't say I have.
Well, you know, like I have, and I'm letting you know, art is not negotiable. The only negotiable thing I will do is I have a rate for indie projects. And I have a rate for pro, you know? And then I have a rate for I really want to do that no matter what. And that rate that I really want to do that for no matter what, I will never say what that is. You know? Right. But that will be whatever it takes to get that job. Because there are, every now and then, something magically falls. And I'm not going to let that opportunity piss away because I was like, oh, I want this amount of money to do it. That being said, that's rare. The reality is there's indie jobs, there's pro jobs. How many indie jobs am I really going to take? I consider SketchCraft, all this, to be an indie contractor. They contract Rob Duenas. SketchCraft contracts Rob Duenas to draw some shit. That's indie. When IDW hits me up, when Aspen hits me up, when Retro Magazine hits me up, or whoever, that's another rate, you know? And if I really don't like someone and I really don't want to work on it, I'm going to quote some astronomical number and then I'll probably still turn it down. I'll be honest, if you don't like it and you don't want to talk to them, just ignore them. Don't ever entertain the conversation. It's the best thing to do. Just don't answer.
I've never been to the Mediterranean, but it does remind me of like panhandlers on the street corner. Hey man, let me tell you this story about why I need $20. And I'm just like, if you just got to the point and said you wanted like $1 for some booze, then we'd talk. But when you come at me with some bullshit story, like, you know, these people like, hey, you got time to listen about my story and this project I want you on? It's like, just get to the point. What do you really want? You know? And that's what it made me think of.
Well, like, remember, Brandon, check this out. I'll wrap this up with an example. Real world example. A few months back, I got hit up with these guys who are doing card games. They're really cool. I like what they make. Okay? And they're like, oh, we're producing a new card game based around this idea. We'd like you to sort of design the basic look of it. And I had assumed draw some stuff, right? I'm like, that sounds cool. They wanted me to draw the whole card set. But they're like, well, we like your roughies. And I'm like, so you want my roughies for this whole thing? And they're like, well, what if you took the roughies, but you just, you know, spruced them up a bit? I'm like, that would be final art. Like that would be drawing 101 cards. You know, I can't. When do you need this? You know, like I was like, I can't draw 101 cards, guys. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. The hardest thing Jim Lee ever said he did was draw that first X-Men card set. I'm not doing that. You got your fucking mind? Like so I said, look, you know, I can do some. I did some initial dev work. You know, they paid me a rate, and I gave it to them. Like, go off with that idea. I set them up for a win. Well, they got back to me recently. Hey, you still available to like do this? I'm like, I wasn't available to do that then because it was an impossible task. Like, and anyone else, like, you can't hire one artist to draw a whole card set like that unless it's, you know, some generic. I don't know, man. They'd have to be like, they'd all have to look like the Minions. They'd have to be the same fucking character over and over again. And so, you know, sometimes you just end up in the situation where you're like, that would be a good project to work on, but they want an unrealistic result from me, you know, and I'm not going to put myself in that position again. You know, 101 cards and you're out your mind. And so now I haven't responded to their emails because what am I supposed to say? No, I'm not. And then, you know, 2 months later and then 2 months later, like, I already told you how I felt about it. You can't, until they come back at me with, hey, you know, we only need you for a couple pieces. That might be something. They know where I stand on it. But what I will find is people, when they're excited about your stuff, they'll go off, try to find someone else who can't do what they were excited about your stuff over. And then they'll come back to you and try to get you to do it anyway. You don't do it.
Right.
Don't let them talk you into it, you know? Because you turned it down for a reason. You know, and I just think like sometimes these people, you know, they can guilt shame you as an artist. Well, you know, and then it'll just be easy. Then you fucking do it, like easy. I'll be up till Saturdays and Sundays and fucking Mondays, and I'll gain weight. You know, my feet will swell up. So I'll yell at Brandon because I'll be mad and I'll take it out on him. You know,
Mm-hmm. Sounds
that
about right.
happens. Don't be my disciple. It's not good. It's not a good idea. So we got enough for one more really quick. I want to talk about Batman versus Superman. Ashley, are you going to go to the theaters to see this?
No.
What?
Damn.
You know why? It's not because I don't like it. I am a hermit, okay? And I probably will not get to see it because I'm always freaking working and I'm OCD about it. It's not a reflection on what I think of Batman or Superman because I both like
Boot
them.
her, Rob. Boot her now.
Don't boo me.
Nah, I like her work ethic, Brandon. I wish if Brandon was like, I can't see Deadpool because I'm working on SketchCraft, I'd be like, that's good. Never happened.
You got to go see it in IMAX.
You don't actually.
Movie I'm probably gonna get out to see is Ratchet and Clank. So
I feel sorry for you, Ashley.
I know.
I have no faith in that film, but
I
understand.
It's been with me since 2002. I kind of am interested to see.
This is like when Brandon goes to see the Turtles movies. You know, he's like, I have to support it. I mean, how often am I going to see a Turtles movie in the theaters?
Exactly.
So I get it. You know, which the shame for about the Ratchet and Clank is the writing in the game is so smart. Why didn't they just get those guys? Why didn't they just take the game and remake the game? Like, I don't know. So I may be wrong. That might actually be a good movie, but
it looks pretty, and I like pretty, so I like to look at pretty things. So if that's good enough, then I'm probably going to be pretty happy. So
it's fair enough. I, on the other hand, am going to go see Batman versus Superman. I actually went to this event a year ago where they were going to debut the trailer in IMAX. You could sign up and get a free ticket to this thing. And right before it came out, someone in Ecuador, it's true, leaked it on the internet in shitty quality. So Warner's had to, the day before this big event, release the high-quality trailer because everyone was like, this looks like shit, like from a quality standpoint. Obviously, it wasn't the film. So then I'm in line to see a trailer we've all seen. I was like, why am I going to this? I'm like, well, it'll be a story, you know? So I get to this trailer line, and there's a line, and everyone in the trailer hated the trailer. Everyone in the trailer line hated the trailer. I'm like, you saw it, right? I'm like, yeah, you like it? They're like, nah. I'm like, why are you here? Batman. I'm like, what? Like, really? Like, they're like, yeah. I'm like, you don't like this? Yeah. You know we're going to go in there, sit down, and watch the trailer. That's it. Yes. And you don't like this trailer. No. But you're here because you like Batman? I like Batman.
Batman trumps.
Did they say it like that?
Huh? No, I'm the telling is better. You know, it's better if I just do that. I like Batman. You know, I wear hockey pads. You know, like that shit.
This movie is gonna be epic, and I can't stop telling people how epic it's gonna be.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you, Brandon. So people didn't like the trailer. They still went to the theater on a weekday to go see the trailer.
Right. In California. That's
in California. So even if these people on the internet hate this movie, they're all gonna go to it. Like whatever expectations financially they think the film's gonna have, you may as well double it.
Right.
Because of Batman. Batman's a magical character.
He is the best.
But I get to see it on March 21st. So the kicker to this is because we went, they gave us this ticket that said, because you showed up, you get to go to a fan screening of this movie in advance a year from now when it comes out. And everyone was like, whoa, we didn't even know we got free tickets. So everyone's been waiting. When we get our free ticket? When we get our free ticket? It was obnoxious. And so IMAX finally came out and gave the free tickets. I got mine. My wife didn't get hers. And so then it was a matter of, well, you just go. And I'm like, oh, no. You know? Because, like, I've been talking about the Justice League as a film since 2005, 2006. It was supposed to lens in 2007. So around 2006, I found out about the Justice League movie that George Miller was directing. And she had to hear about it way back when. And ever since then, I've been like, this Justice League movie would have been amazing. And then when Mad Max comes out finally, I'm like, this guy could have directed Justice League. And now that this film's coming out, I just want her to walk out the theater and tell me how much she's looking forward to the Justice League movie because she fucking hates talking about it. And it's going on almost 10 years now, you know, like, or about 10 years. And I was like, she's not going to be there for this, right? And she's like, "Do you just go?" And I'm like, "No, you're going to go and you're going to tell me how you want to see Justice League." So I had to spend my week in all my free time harassing Warner Brothers tickets and getting her. Then they sent me a code for her, and the code was already taken. They sent me a used code. It's a fucking nightmare. So I saw the prom. So I'll go see it March 21st. I will probably come back and do a non-spoilers reaction video. Yeah.
When does it regularly come out?
The 25th. So I'm going to see it 4 days before you. Yeah, so I'll probably have to record my own thoughts. You know, and then depending on the NDA, if I can talk about spoilers, but I probably won't do spoilers until the movie comes out because I don't fucking care.
You could just wait, you know.
I don't know about that, Brandon. I told you to go to the fan event a year ago, and you didn't do it. So.
The one in California?
Yeah. Well, no, it was all over the nation, bro.
I don't remember there being one here, but
yeah, it was all over.
Yeah. I'll try to talk my sister into going with me because she's trying to get me to go to a movie with her. And so if I can talk her into going to a superhero movie with me, I might see it.
That's the spirit.
Every time I'm like, "Come on, let's go Deadpool." She's like, "I don't want to see Deadpool." And I'm like, "Come on, how about Star Wars?" "I don't want to see Star Wars." It was like this. We're
How
like
old is
night
your
and day.
sister?
She's 31. She's almost 32.
Right.
Okay. So
she's like a normal person, right? Like an average.
We're just night and day.
Exactly. You're Batman. She's Superman.
Yep.
More reason to go see it.
Probably
Brandon's
Batman,
Wonder Woman.
I only sleep like 2 hours a day.
Yeah,
I am Wonder Woman. Fantastic.
So we're at the 47 mark. So I'm going to see it on the 21st, way in advance of Brandon, and I'm rubbing it in, Brandon. Ha!
Don't say it like that.
You don't get to see shit. No. All right. So, and then really quickly, Brandon, when does this DC Rebirth shit start?
Oh, shit. Put me on the spot. I had it. It's coming, I think, in June. I want to say May is the first one, but you caught me off guard on this one.
Brandon's supposed to be making a document on DC Rebirth news. Because I want to really document every time they do this shit. So every 3 years we're gonna have a big. Here's how they rebooted the universe needlessly again.
The first special, the like 80-page one-up, is on sale May 25th. So I think it's right before San Diego Comic-Con, give or take. On my time, I'd have to check, but it'll be right before we go to the amazing Las Vegas Comic-Con. So also, if you're in Vegas ahead of time. This summer, me and Rob will be there. We will have 2 tables. But
I'll send my friend your way. He lives in Vegas.
Fantastic.
Perfect. Yeah, we will be at the amazing Vegas Con. Every day we're here on SketchCraft. I'm working, I'm drawing, I'm working, I'm drawing, and Brandon usually jumps in. That being said, Brandon, where else can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at LeadHeavy. That's LEAD Heavy.
And Ashley, where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and I'm Gang Feather.
Send all your useless rates to her there. That would be perfect. As always, folks, SketchCraft Live was recorded in front of a live internet audience and supported by viewers like you. Please follow, subscribe, share the videos. Really, just share them. Share them around the internet. That would help a lot. And as always, join us again next week when we talk about shit you bring up. That would be awesome. See y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.